Hello, this is Janet Michael. In addition to hosting The Valley Today each weekday at noon on the River 95.3, I also produce podcasts, and I'm excited to introduce you to a new podcast series in partnership with Lord Fairfax Community College. Having provided higher education and career training for the past half-century, LFCC is tightly interwoven into the fabric of the Northern Shenandoah Valley and Piedmont regions. Join me every week for conversations with current and former students to hear their funny and inspiring stories as we learn about their journey to higher education, the role that LFCC has played, where they are now, and where they plan to go. We'll also talk to current and former professors about their experiences and best memories of LFCC over the past 50 years. Get every single episode as they're released on our website at theriver953.com under the podcast tab, or you can subscribe for free in Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, on Spotify, Amazon Music, wherever you listen to podcasts. Just search for LFCC Stories. Hello and welcome to The Valley Today. I am your host, Janet Michael. Happy Tuesday as you are listening to the show today. It is Tourism Tuesday. It is the first Tuesday of the month. That means it is Shenandoah County's turn at the mic. Carrie Hahn is joining me for our pre-recorded conversation. And Carrie, we're not even taking a long holiday weekend because we're recording this on Monday, the observed holiday of July 4th.
That's right. Yeah, I logged on to my emails today and I was reminded it's a holiday.
Right.
Like, yeah, but I'm going to do a little bit of work today.
We are so dedicated. We are such dedicated employees.
Thank you for saying as much, because I was just about to say it's not work when it's fun, right?
That's true.
We have a good time together, Janet.
We really do. And I got to say, because I haven't done this so far, and now that I know she always listens when you're on, I got to give a shout out to your moms, because your mom's dear sweet Dottie has been helping me train these puppies. She is phenomenal. And I cannot begin to tell you how much my life has changed in just the 3 lessons we've had so far.
Oh, that is so awesome. Yeah, she's really good. She's been training dogs pretty much her entire adult life. So it's just wonderful to hear. And if you're listening, Mom.
Yes, she's pretty good at training the humans too, which is ultimately what she's doing anyway.
Isn't that what it's about, really? Like training us to know how to communicate with our dogs. And
I have her cell number. I need to start sending her little text messages before we go on Thursday nights to say, hey, I'm having this issue with the husband. So can you figure out a way to incorporate that into the dog training this week? How amazing would that be?
Exactly.
She'd just give me grief and say, now, Janet, that's not what I do here. I'm here to train the dogs. So I understand we're going to be talking about one of my favorite topics today, because we are farm marketing it all up and down Shenandoah County.
You know, that is a favorite topic in Shenandoah County. We're not known as the breadbasket of the South for no reason, right? So in Shenandoah County, we have so many farm stands, farmers markets, pick your own. We have meat markets and locally raised produce and pork and beef and chickens and eggs. So we don't do like farm to table. Like farm to table isn't just like a buzzword here. Like farm to table is a lifestyle. This is how we live in Shenandoah County. So I wanted to talk about farm stands and farm markets while we were talking today.
So let's start with meat. That's my husband's favorite topic. And I love being able to buy that kind of stuff locally versus getting it at the grocery store when you have no idea where it's come from. And you have to watch the news for weeks after you buy something to make sure it hasn't been recalled or there's not some sort of problem with it.
Sure. Yeah. So I'll go through and talk about some of the places that we have here. Gore's is a very popular one. They have a great reputation for country sausage, and they have been serving Shenandoah County for over 50 years. They are on South Middle Road in Edinburgh, Virginia, and a lot of restaurants and a lot of people will go to Gore's or travel from outside of the county just to get Gore's meat. Another really popular one is Crabill's. They're also a local butcher, and they have fresh quality meats. They're in Tomsbrook, Virginia, which is the little town between Woodstock and Strasburg. And then we have Baker Farms. They are a local hog farm, and they have fresh, healthy local pork with no growth hormones. They're in Connickville, real close to Cave Ridge Vineyards. And if you were wondering whether or not I was going to throw in some vineyards for this conversation,
Duh.
there you go. Let's see. Let me think if there's another. Oh, J&L Green Farm. That's another one. I'd love to use this one to segue into like some of the other farm markets that we have. J&L Green Farm, they feed their cattle non-GMO, genetically modified organisms to their animals. They have fresh pork, beef, chicken, and turkey. And what's neat about J&L Green Farm is they also supply all of the meats for the foods that they serve at Swover Creek Farm, which is pretty much next door, and that's on Swover Creek Road in Edinburgh.
Well, I will tell you, and I can't remember his name now because it's been over 5 years ago, but J&L Green Farm was one of my very first guests. The first
Wow.
2 or 3 weeks that I took over at the show, we were still doing, I can tell you how long ago it was. We were still doing Tourism Tuesday at Bowling Green Country Club. We were doing the show live from Bowling Green Country Club, and they were one of the first guests. I had not done an off-site radio show before that, and I think they were even more nervous than I was, and I had no idea what I was doing. But they have a really cool place over there.
Yes, they absolutely do. Yeah. And so look at any of those places that I mentioned. You could look them up on the Facebook, or you can definitely go to visitshenandoahcounty.com. And if you click on the experience tab, you'll see farm market.
You mentioned Gore's at the top, and
Yep.
I know they have the place in Edinburgh. They also have a little store in
Yes.
Stevens City, which is closer, obviously, for us. And
Right.
there is no better sausage on the planet. I will just tell you, we keep it in the freezer at all times, mild,
Mhm.
spicy, all the different varieties. Gore's is amazing. And they're family run. I mean, that's the
Yes.
other cool thing. Aside from being around for almost 50 years, they're run by family, which makes it even more cool, I think, when you go shop there.
Yeah, and there's something really nice about just having a sense that things were loved and cared for, and that it's family run, and that you just kind of know where your food is coming from, especially when it's local like that.
And Swover Creek is family run too. You were talking about how they use J&L Meats at their place.
Yes.
They're run by, it's a husband and wife team, isn't it?
Yes, and in fact, they are known as a century farm. And actually, I think, if I'm not mistaken, they're a 2-century farm. I think, and I can't, don't quote me on that, but they have been around for over 100 years, run by the same family. And what is so cool about Swover Creek Farms is that, like, they may have been like a farm that raised fruits and vegetables at one point, but then like had to sort of change their mission and move to like pick your own strawberries and berries, like just as the times changed, and as costs changed for produce and things that go off to market. Like, they just evolved and pivoted and changed with the times over the years to be successful. And then several years ago, of course, they opened the brewery, and were using produce and fresh berries and things from their farm to make their beers, including their own hops that they produce right there on the farm. They still have the berry picking, which is part of their operation out at Swover Creek. And they just keep expanding and having new products for people to enjoy, including they just built some wood-fired pizza ovens several years ago. And of course, again, they use meats from J&L Farms, which is just next door, to produce the sausages. And they sell sausages that, like, you could just buy straight up sausages to eat there, but they also put it on the pizzas, which is amazing. So there's a big variety of meats on their menu when you go into Swover Creek. So you can have a beer and a wood-fired pizza and sausage. And they also have like a play area for kids if families want to come. Beverages, obviously, for kids. It's not just a bar where you only buy beer. And then the other cool thing that they just built is a disc golf course. So they've had tournaments out there, and people can like come and do disc golf. And it's really beautiful out there. I've been out on that course. I'm not good at disc golf, but it's definitely a way to sort of get together with friends and family and be outside. And then you can finish your round and have something cold to drink and have a wood-fired pizza. That's what I would do.
And disc golf is kind of like Frisbee, but you have to get it on these little hanger things, right?
Right. So I would describe it as maybe more like golf, and the discs are like frisbees. So the game is more like golf. Like you have to get it into a little basket, but there are rules, and I am not familiar with them.
Yeah, I can't even throw a frisbee so the dogs can catch it. So I can't even imagine trying
Uh,
to throw something and get it into a basket of any sort. Much like I can't get a golf ball to go in the hole when I'm smacking it at either. So I stick to just driving the carts around.
there you go. There you go.
I love that they still have the pick your own because that's a big deal. A lot of people want that experience to be able to go and pick their own berries and say, look what I did. It just kind of adds to the whole experience.
Well, and now that we're into July, I would say that like probably the blueberries are starting to phase out. Like strawberries are not probably not happening at the moment. They're usually very early in the season. Same with blueberries. So they're probably phasing out. My guess is that right now we're rich with blackberries and raspberries. And I know that they grow those out there at Swiver Creek Farm. So
well, let's take a break. When we come back, can you give me like a rundown of some of the established places like Woodbine Farm Market and some of the other ones so people know what all of the options they have are for those kinds of places?
yes, where you can just go and get fresh produce 7 days a week, probably.
Yes, that's what I want. Okay, we're going to do that when we come back. We are pre-recording our conversation today with Carrie Hahn for Shenandoah County Tourism Tuesday, and we're going to be back in just a couple of minutes.
Got a financial decision to make or a goal to reach, but you don't know where to start? You've come to the right place. Introducing Quick Money Chats with the Northern Shenandoah Valley Financial Education Program. Visit tinyurl.com/quickmoneychat to schedule a virtual chat with a staff member or trained volunteer. We won't tell you what to do, but we will give you the tools you need to choose wisely. And because Virginia Cooperative Extension is part of Virginia Tech and Virginia State, your land-grant universities, you can be sure that our information is credible and trustworthy. And you'll know that we aren't trying to sell you something. Maybe you want to improve your credit score, or reduce your banking overdraft fees, or even figure out if you can afford to buy that car. Sorting through tons of information on the internet can be overwhelming, and sometimes it can be hard to know who to trust. Schedule a Quick Money Chat and get the information you need to take action. Go to tinyurl.com/quickmoneychat and get financial education personalized for you.
Welcome back to the Valley today. I am your host, Janet Michael. Happy Tuesday as you are listening to the show today. It is, of course, Tourism Tuesday, Shenandoah County edition. Carrie Hahn is pre-recording with me today. We are talking all about farms, farmers markets, meat. What do you call those? They're not meat farms, Carrie. What's the word that I'm looking for?
Like
Butchers. Yes. I'm thinking meat farms. That doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound very appetizing either.
No, it doesn't. Cattle farm, cattle raising and pork. I guess that would be the way.
Yeah. I know there's a phrase and I can't think of what it is right now. So we're just going to talk about, let's start with Woodbine. We're going to talk about all the really cool little farm markets that you guys have in Shenandoah County. And I want to start with Woodbine because you and I got to hang out there for a little bit a few weeks ago.
We certainly did. We got to see like sort of an insider's view of their operations there with the Faces of Tourism program, which you can find on our website as well. We'll talk about that later. But so we went and did the Faces of Tourism program, and we looked at all of their new tiny little houses that they have that are sort of set up as Airbnbs, and they're so beautiful, and they overlook the orchard. And speaking of orchards, they have apples there at Woodbine Farm. And I know that they do produce for some larger companies where they send their apples off, but they also sell their apples and peaches right there in the farmer's market, which is open all summer. Now, if you ever drive that exit, which is the Route 55 exit at Strasburg, if you ever drive past that exit, you'll see a closed sign on the highway that says Woodbine Farm is closed. So they're closed in the wintertime, but they're open in the summertime. And boy, are they ever. I mean, when you see those doors open, it is just like you are like, it's like sensory overload of beautiful, colorful fruits and vegetables and pies and cookies and honey and jellies and jams and roulette and potato chips and various other like farm locally produced things in that shop. So you can like get a cart and like fill your cart full of just the best summery goodness. And then into
which
the
we
fall, of
both
course.
did, by the way, which
Yes.
we both did on that day. I came home and thankfully they're gone now. So if Tim is listening today and he's going to come home tonight and say, what do you mean you got cookies? I don't remember ever seeing cookies. It's because I ate them all. But I
Oh,
got some of the best peanut butter cookies and
yes.
ginger molasses
Mhm.
cookies are my favorite. And
I
they
love them.
were amazing.
Oh, yes. Well, you know what I like with ginger and molasses cookies is lemon curd. Have you ever had that?
I have not.
That is my favorite combination.
Okay, I'm
Yes,
going to scribble that down.
just a little hint for you, which you could probably buy at either Woodbine Farm, Maury's Orchard, anywhere, any of those places. You could probably buy some lemon curd. But yeah, that tangy lemon taste with the ginger, I don't know. I'm telling you, it's really good.
So what are some of
So-
the other places like Woodbine that you have
Okay,
in Shenandoah
so
County?
If you are in Woodstock, Maury Orchard is another place very similar. And then, by the way, it's not just summer, it's into the fall. So you can see like the whole landscape changes. They go from selling like herbs and vegetables in the early summertime to selling like plants and flowers for your garden on the outside. And then in the fall, everything sort of changes to like corn husks, apples, and pumpkins, obviously, for like decorating in the fall. But again, like Maury Orchard, you go inside and it's like the whole produce section of a grocery store filled with the most beautiful tomatoes. And again, like they have at the counter, they have those little hand fried pies, right? Like that, just like single serve hand pies. And we didn't talk about the pies at Woodbine Farm. I got a pie that day. I think you got a slice of pie that day. You got cookies. I have filled my cart with stuff because, there's just really nothing better than a handmade pie. So same with Maury Orchard. They have very similar offerings there. Not far from Maury Orchard is Adams Apples and Herbs, and they're a family run organization, and it's very small. But I got the most beautiful flowers there this year. I got some great hanging baskets. I got some beautiful bee balm in a color that I'd never seen before. And actually, that was since we went to that garden tour that one time. I was like, oh, that flower is so beautiful. I took a picture of it and I discovered it's bee balm. So I went and bought some at Adams Apples and Herbs, and they had a color that I had never seen before. It's a bright fuchsia, which is a color that I love seeing in my garden. So you can get that there, and their tomatoes, they sell baked goods from Flour and Water. Their tomatoes are great. Their apples are really good. They're grown right there, and they provide foods for like the Woodstock Cafe, for example. Mm-hmm. So again, like that's where like living and being here in this region, it's all connected, and a lot of places are just really happy to serve foods that are provided locally.
I met Adam from Adam's Apples at the Strasburg Farmers Market a couple of months ago when I did the radio show there, and picked up some of his apples, and got these cute little orange, shocking, I know, flowers, and they're still alive. I planted them in one of these old copper pots that I picked up at an auction a couple of weeks ago. But the cool part about getting those copper pots is usually they're all cracked at the bottom, so you can't really use them, but they're perfect for planting flowers in, because then they give you the drainage that you need.
Exactly.
And they're the most beautiful orange. I can't remember the name of them, but they close up at night, and then they open into beautiful daisy looking flowers when the sun hits them all day long. And they are fantastic. But I got a ton of stuff from him when he was at Strasburg Farmers Market.
That's fantastic. Yeah, they have a really, really awesome family run, again, operation. Like if anytime you go in there, if you don't see Adam, you see his mom or you see his dad, or you see somebody in there who is a family or a close friend who is running the shop. It's just a really good hometown feel to it. So there was something else. Peaches. Can we talk about peaches?
Yes.
Because right now, the peaches are starting to come in, and they have, most of the farm stands have their first round of peaches, and the early peaches are the ones that cling to the seed, right? But I love it when you get towards the end of the summer and you get the freestone peaches, which means that you can sort of just cut around the stone and pull it apart, and then it comes away from the seed, which makes it so easy to then peel them and slice them for pies or to freeze or whatever. But
eat them as an apple.
Or just eat them as an apple, and know that yes, exactly. But I've made a pledge to my family this year that I was going to buy and eat and insist that everybody else eats lots of peaches this summer, because what happens is I get to the end of the summer, or I get like all summer, I'm going, I really should eat more peaches because it won't be long until they're gone. And then I get to the end of the summer and I go, darn, I forgot. So my pledge is to eat lots of peaches and freeze a lot of peaches. So. Sorry, I don't mean to go on about that, But
hey, I am all about the peaches, and it's not in Shenandoah County. It's close. I will say probably just 2 or 3 miles from the Shenandoah County line. But Eddie at Richard's Fruit Market, they do peach milkshakes from the peaches that they grow on the farm. And they are worth getting in the car and just driving to get a milkshake if you do nothing else. And I've been known to do that in the middle of the day when I just need something cold because oh my gosh.
Yeah. So John Henry General Store is one that I can't not mention, right? Like he has beautiful flowers, he has beautiful plants for growing vegetables. And if you go inside, I mean, he's got produce and wonderful things. I love following him on Facebook because his social media game is really strong and he's always showing you what he has to offer that is fresh and new and interesting. They do those vegetable boxes where you just sign up and for $20 you get a big box of vegetables. And I will tell you that one time I did that and it was like the whole back of my car was filled with vegetables for $20. So you should definitely look into and actually that was a weekend where I had a bunch of company coming. This was a couple of years ago. I had some company coming that day and I was like, well, why don't I just get the vegetables, whatever they're having that day? And usually you get something really interesting, like a little honey or a little something sort of on the side along with all of your vegetables.
Yeah, I think those CSA boxes, they are fantastic because it's a subscription and you get whatever's in season, which is great because you don't know, but you know that it was just grown and just picked. So it's as fresh can be.
Yes. So there's also some farm stands that are just open on the weekend.
And those are typically, we say farmers markets. And I think sometimes people get confused that there are farm stands and markets like Woodbine, John Henry General Store that are actual businesses and they're open 7 days a week or they're open multiple days a week. But then you have these farmers markets that are typically only open on Saturdays, usually in the mornings until noon. And it's a compilation of maybe smaller farms and crafters and artisans that all come together to kind of sell their stuff because they wouldn't have a forum to do it otherwise.
Exactly. Right. So there's a handful of them. One is in Strasburg, and that's just at the town square. And that's on Saturdays, usually in the mornings. Am I right about that? You've been to that one.
I did. That's when I interviewed Adam was a couple of weeks ago. Right. And they're actually, I believe they are year round because they have that pavilion area there at the town square in Strasburg. They can be indoors in the winter, but they are every Saturday. I want to say from 8 a.m. until noon 30, I think maybe a little bit later, but they have a Facebook page, Strasburg Farmers Market. You can find all the details and it's fantastic. There is a ton of stuff that they have at that farmers market.
Yeah. So then there's another one in Woodstock and they're also year round because they set up in the summertime or in the warm weather months, they set up in the parking lot of the American Legion, which is on South Street in Woodstock. So if you're on the south end of town and you get to the area just off of Main Street, you can see a sign for the American Legion and turn to get to the South Street.
I'm going to have to make a point to head over to Woodstock and check that one out. I haven't been to that one yet.
Yeah, in the colder months, they go inside the American Legion, and that's Saturdays from 8 to 1.
Awesome. And do they have a Facebook page? I assume they do.
I believe they do as well. Yeah. And all of this information can be found on our website too, which I'll remind everyone about afterwards.
Speaking of afterwards, I know we wanted to talk about New Star Market, but we've got like a minute and a half. So give me the Cliff Notes version of New Star Market, and then tell me about the blog that kind of highlights all the little country stores in Shenandoah County.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah. So New Star Market, that's a really great little shop. If you are heading towards Woodbine Farm from the highway, you'll see it's a country store, gas station type of place that has awesome murals on the outside of the building. They're so beautiful. You can't miss it. But they just opened a new section of their shop for boba tea. And if you don't know what boba tea is, first of all, my son was so excited about that. He was like, oh my God, we have to have boba. But it's sort of like a cold tea drink and you can have it with or without dairy. And what's at the bottom are tapioca balls, and they are about the size of not quite as small as a pea and not quite as big as a marble. So, and there's a special straw that it's just so interesting. So it's like a type of tapioca that's at the bottom of the cup, but you can also get different kinds of boba. So lots of different flavors. They're open from noon till 8 p.m. just on the outside in that little pavilion area, and absolutely totally worth checking out.
I know they have a Facebook page because I follow them on Facebook.
Yeah, yes. And then if you want to know about all of the other country stores in the county, you can go to our travel blog, which is at visitshenandoahcounty.com. And there is a blog that is just all about the little country stores that are sort of scattered throughout the county. So like if you live near Columbia Furnace or you're out heading towards Wolf Gap to go hiking at Big Schloss, you can stop at Larkin's store because they're very famous for their awesome pizza and they have awesome ice cream. And then if you're driving through Edinburgh heading down towards Newmarket, you can stop at Folt's store because they have awesome fried chicken. So they're really, really great little shops that are often gas stations, and they often just are like a country store to serve the different small communities that are scattered throughout the county.
Visit ShenandoahCounty.com.
Visit ShenandoahCounty.com. If you want to know about all the farmers markets, go to our homepage, go to experience, and you'll see under farming, there's a little tab called markets. And that'll take you to all of the different types of farmers markets throughout our county. And then if you go to our travel blog, you'll see a blog there that talks about all the different country stores as well.
And then Faces of Tourism is also on the website. That's happening every month. And this month it's at Suzanne's studio in Woodstock.
Yes. And so you want to make sure that you contact Brenda Black from our tourism office to find out more about what's happening with Faces of Tourism.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank Brenda. I want to say thank you to Brenda for putting on the Faces of Tourism last month. Outstanding job. I learned so much about Woodbine and Shenandoah County. So kudos to both of you and for the whole team.
Yeah. Thank you. Brenda's awesome. We're so glad to have her.
I will be back tomorrow. It is the Valley Business Today. I'm having a conversation with Nikki Kales from the Front Royal Warren County Chamber of Commerce. So meet me back here for that just a few minutes after noon.
Bye, Mom.